We don't have a script to follow.
Or big-time endorsements.
We're not professional hunters.
No such thing in this country.
We are professional outfitters.
Trust me, that's as close as it gets.
We guide lots of hunters each season.
We put them on deer.
And I mean good deer.
We're deer thugs.
Mossy Oaks Deer Thugs is presented by Walmart. Save money, live better. Walmart.
Section 1, question 5.
Are food sources more important in early or late season?
I think food sources are equally important early season and late season.
Jimmy Riley, Giles Island.
The trick is determining which food source that the deer are keying on at a particular time. During the early season, it's harder to do that. It's harder to figure out which food source the deer are going to mostly and first, because there's so much food available. So if you can go out there and figure out which one they're going to first. They're laid up for several hours, they stand up and they start moving around, they're going to food. Which one are they going to first? Once you get into the late season, it's a lot easier to figure out what's going on. There's not as much food out there. You know, for us, we've got food plots, we've got pecans, we got briars. That's about it. Maybe some honey loaded beans. That's pretty easy to figure out when the deer get up out of the bed which food source they're going to. So, yeah, I think food is important both early and late season. The trick is determining which one they're going to first.
When Mossy Oak approached Mossberg about being part of the whole thug concept, the turkey thugs and the deer thugs, it didn't take long for me to catch on that this is something we truly wanted to be involved in. So it was a great partnership for us to partner together for the TV show and the gun series. So we're very proud to have the ATR Deer Thug guns and the Mossberg Turkey Thug guns. And great thing about it, I'm down here this weekend, we're going to be field testing the new ATR Deer Thug rifle. So if you're getting ready to deer hunt, you need to take a look at the ATR Deer Thug rifles. Just arrived at Giles Island, so excited about my deer hunt. In fact, this is really a great moment for me because I have the brand new ATR Deer Thugs rifle, my first hunt with it in the field. But like any trip, anytime I arrive, I'm going to make sure that I am sighted in and my rifle's still shooting where it was when I left home. Definitely don't want to take that chance of having a big buck in front of me tomorrow and not being on. So let's get ready to sight this in and see where she's at. I see that one. That looks pretty good. I'm gonna double check it here. From here it looks good, but I think we'll walk down range and see what we've got. It's not too bad for a 3-shot group, about 1.5 inches there. I think that's good for a deer, and I think we're ready for this afternoon's hunt.
Mossy Oaks Deer Thugs is brought to you by Walmart, Ram Truck Brand, Quaker Boy, Lethal, Mossberg, and by Precision Shooting Equipment.
Section 1, question 5.
Are food sources more important in early or late season?
Did you eat breakfast this morning? Plan on eating this evening?
Justin Akins, Canadian River Hilton.
Deer are just like us, and you got to think of it that way. A lot of people think, well, the deer aren't feeding, they didn't come to my food plot. When there's a big weather change or something like that, yeah, they may lay up for a day or so, but the deer didn't quit eating. They changed what they were eating, they changed the preference of their diet, and so you've got to get up there and scout and see what them deer are eating and go find that food source. It's simple. They're going to bed every day, they're going to feed every day, and they're going to water every day. That's the 3 things a deer must have. So just because they quit coming to your food plot don't mean they quit eating. They found another food source that they may prefer better at that time.
Last spring, Rusty McDaniels with Mossy Oak gave me a call and said, hey, would you like to do a hunt with one of the turkey thugs? And I jumped right on it. And we got a great show. Everybody got turkeys. And so when Rusty called me a few months later and said, hey, I've got an opportunity I think you're going to like to hunt with one of the deer thugs, Jimmy Rattling, go down to Giles Island. So it didn't take me long to say yes to that. Well, the first morning's hunt, we weren't really optimistic as we got up to rain, heavy fog. We even talked about not going out because with the camera it's a little bit tricky when you have inclement weather. We got in there though very comfortable, a little bit challenging though because we had pretty much a 360-degree view. I'm really hoping to score big here, but first morning's not cooperating much when we came out. It was very foggy. Now we've got rain, so it's pretty much shut down, but we're hopeful. It's just the first morning. We saw a couple of does and some fawn kind of feed across, but we got off to a little bit of a slow start, but I was still very optimistic. First afternoon we headed out, I drew pipeline. Actually, I think it was pipeline 1. We set up, the weather wasn't really cooperating, but we were in a blind and we thought, you know, you're not going to get a deer if you're sitting in camp. So first afternoon, we were out this morning. Weather didn't really cooperate. We had a lot of fog, rain. We did see a couple of does, a few fawn, but it was really pretty slow. We're out this afternoon, a little different setup. We're hoping we might have some action this afternoon. There's a big storm coming in, moving in from the southwest. Looks like heavy rain overnight and tomorrow, so maybe we'll get lucky this afternoon and get something moving before the storm. We did see a few does feeding around toward later in the evening. We saw a couple of bucks. They were at least 200 plus yards. We knew they weren't shooters, but at least we saw a few deer and we had a good evening hunt.
Call Thug with Chris Kirby.
Chris, why does rattling work better in some parts of the country than it does in others?
You know, growing up in the Northeast, didn't really have really good success rattling. Would bleat and grunt deer in. My first trip to Texas, we were rattling in deer left and right. And I sat down with the ranch manager, I was like, what's the deal? And this is years ago, and I started to really learn. The biggest key for rattling is the buck-to-doe ratio. And growing up in the Northeast and then starting to hunt through the Midwest, and you could see the change and transformation on different parts of the country, different parts of states, where when I would go out and sit in my stand, I'd see 25, 30 deer and a spike and a 4-point were the 2 bucks I saw. There's not a whole lot of competition needed, so there's not a lot of fighting going on. And that rattling sequence is you're asking the deer to come into another fight. So you're asking that deer to come into 2 other bucks. And you got to have a really good buck-to-doe ratio for that to be effective often.
I kind of noticed the same thing. On Giles Island, you know, we've got a lot of deer, we've got a buck-to-doe ratio of 1 to 1, and rattling works real good. And I'm not used to that. Growing up as a kid, we didn't have that kind of ratio. It was does galore, you know, there was 1 doe day during the year, so the doe population was huge and didn't hardly have any luck rattling. But now that I'm in a situation where we've got that competition, you know, 1 to 1 buck-doe ratio, rattling works real good.
It sure does.
Call Thug, brought to you by Deer Thug Calls, powered by Quaker Boy.
Okay, final morning, you know, and we're hoping for the best. Got up to not the greatest news. We had really strong northwest winds, but I got a pretty good draw. I got Motor Road, and the way the setup was there with the ladder stand, you know, I thought, hey, we might have a good chance. Last hunt, Giles Island. You always hate when it comes down to the final hunt, but on the flip side,
it's really nice to get to fully enjoy the hunt every day of it. We've got really, really strong northwest winds and new fronts coming in. We're going to sit out here to the very last minute because you just never know what can happen. Things can change in a minute. You know, we'll stay here, take our time, and hope for the best, right down to the last minute.
Hour or so passed, we really hadn't seen anything, and then all of a sudden it seemed to be a little lull in the wind, and I kind of glanced around to my left. We got a buck, looks like a big buck, and saw a buck, and knew it was a good buck.
He's coming from right to left. Okay, if he gets to that opening, I might have a shot. Got a tree in the way. Oh, there's too much brush. Too much brush. I can't get a shot.
What I was seeing wasn't necessarily what Rusty was seeing, and he and I tried. You know, I was fighting trees and brush, and he'd get an opening, and I didn't.
He's getting behind me. I have to see if I can get him on the other side.
I had to kind of swing around to the other side of the tree, and here's when the adrenaline was really pumping. My heart was pounding.
Okay, if I can just get him to take another step.
I began to realize that with the way the wind was blowing, he was going to scent us pretty quickly, and it was that moment of truth. I had to decide if I was comfortable with that shot.
I think he's getting our wind. I'm gonna have to take him. He's down.
I got so caught up in the moment of were we going to get a shot or not that I really didn't know when I walked up what to expect. I have to tell you, I was blown away. Just a beautiful, beautiful, mature trophy. Here comes Jimmy. Check this baby out.
Wow.
Isn't he beautiful?
Man, you gotta be kidding me, huh?
Look at that.
Man, that is a 8-point there.
Is that not
Look
a
at the
beauty?
mass on that thing.
That's what blew me away. I was just saying, though, this is just a beautiful, beautiful
He
buck.
is.
And exactly what you're looking for here, right?
Absolutely. Look how tall he is.
Yeah.
Massive and tall.
Yeah.
Great.
Thank
happy
you.
for you, baby. I'm happy for you.
Thank you so much. I can't tell you what a thrill this has been hunting here at Giles Island with you. It's just like a dream come
I
true.
hope you had a good time.
First Mississippi buck,
All right.
first deer with the Deer Thug rifle.
Great. Great. Glad to be a part of it.
Do I get to come back?
Oh, heck yeah.
Thank you
Absolutely.
so much.
It would depend on how good a dragger you are. Can you help me drag?
Absolutely, you know I can. We got a little bit of a haul, but at least the road's there.
Right.
Let's do it.
Let me carry that for you.
I got it.
Section 1.
Question 5.
Do you ever hunt in a hard rain?
Yes.
When it rains, I'll hunt in the hard rain. No.
Yes, but not willingly.
Yes.
Rapid Fire is brought to you by Walmart. Save money, live better. Walmart. Mossy Oaks Deer Thugs is brought to you by Come Here, Deer. Charlie O Products. New Fletch. Scott Archery. Schwacker Broadheads. And by Mossy Oak Brand Camo.
1 and 5.
Are food sources more important in early or late season?
Are they more important? I think it just depends on where you are, that kind of situation. But
Charlie O'Brien, the Catch-22 Ranch.
I think food sources are important more late season because the browse is gone. So you really start focusing in on what's left, what's available. And a lot of times, if you have a good food source late in the season, you can be real successful because, you really centralize that food source. Early in the season, there's a lot more browse available, and it makes it actually more difficult to pinpoint big deer. You can pinpoint a lot of deer, but actually getting a big one to come in there is you know, a lot easier for me late season.
It's September 3rd. We're in Kentucky. We're on the opening night. Sweltering heat. We got the truck rip 101 on the way over here, so it's pretty hot out. But we've got a buck on here pretty regular. It's a deer we got a lot of trail cam pictures of. Last year, we actually found the sheds off this deer this past winter. We've actually named him a Skywalker because of the height of his rack. It's really, really hot here. He's been following a pretty good pattern here. So hopefully continues that tonight. We're gonna hang out and find out.
We've been under extreme drought. We've had about 30 days here without really any measurable rain. Didn't really like our chances, being the fact it was 102 degrees, didn't think the deer would move much before dark. But you know, he had been there, so we gave it a shot. We went up the tree, we waited, and he didn't show up. So next morning, we go in, we check the camera. He came in. He just came in midnight, well after dark. We thought we'd give him another shot.
Blake, does really cold weather affect today's archery gear?
You know, really, I get that question a lot, and it really doesn't. It has very little effect on the performance of the bow. Now, one thing that it does have effect on is you. And that's one reason we recommend people to practice in the hunting clothes that they're going to be wearing. I can't tell you how many times I've heard stories and had it happen to myself that you catch the corner on a heavy jacket, you catch your arm because it's so your heavy coat is so much thicker on your arm. The main thing is to practice in real life hunting situations. Now you're going to be sweating your butt off in the summertime trying your coat and your gloves and everything, but it's very important to know what you're going to encounter when you get in the woods.
Absolutely, you got to be ready for every scenario.
That's exactly right. If you hunt out of a ground blind, practice sitting down. If you hunt in cold weather gear, practice with that on.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what I tell people. But it has very little to do with the actual performance of the bow.
Yeah, great tip.
We go back out to the stand, get in there early, get set up.
All right, third night of Kentucky season, September 5th. We're setting the same set we set opening night. Of course, it was 102 in the truck that night. Tonight we're about 62, so we got a 40-degree temperature difference. Big front came through last night. We're just gonna hang tight in here, sit back, and see what happens. Hopefully he moves.
Of course, this is a spot. It's a funny little spot. It's a hay lot. It's next to some crop fields. This deer's cutting through this hay lot to get to the crop fields from his bedding cover. Sure enough, about 45 minutes before dark, we hear something behind us, look back, and there he is.
Deer. Deer behind us. There's our mark.
He was there with another buck, a smaller 8-pointer that we got with him every time we got him on camera. He was hanging with this other 8-pointer, just a two deer bachelor group.
They're gonna jump the fence.
The little deer jumped the fence first, then he followed shortly after. They milled around a little bit and finally presented us with a good shot.
All right, there it is.
Section 1, question 5.
Are food sources more important in early or late season?
You know, food sources are a vital part of the deer's life year-round.
Kevin Burleson, part of Texas bow hunting.
On the deer's behalf, they become more important late season. They need that nutrition. They need to regenerate from the rundown of the rut. Really, it becomes more important for the deer late season. Now, for the hunter, it can be both early season and late season. You can set up early on a food source and be fairly productive. Late season, obviously, is the time to hunt a food source. You know, late in the year, in the cold winter time, it's all about that food. They've got to have it. Section 1, question 5.
Are food sources more important in early or late season?
Food sources are important both early and late, but they're more important late.
Fred Law, Enon Plantation.
I think the reason therefore is early season, food supply is plentiful, and so it's a guessing game as where to hunt. But late, food supply is dwindling, and if you got a food supply, well, your deer's gonna be there, and not only just your does, your bucks, the rut's gonna be in, so your bucks is gonna be there. So late season, food supply is definitely more important.
They milled around a little bit and finally presented us with a good shot.
All right, there it is. Got it. I got it. Oh, he smoked. He smoked. There you go. There you go. Yes. Yes. We got him. We got Skywalker. Awesome. That was awesome. That was awesome.
Tell you what, he's a great deer. He's even bigger than I expected him to be.
Oh, white belly, right here. Here he is. Here he is. Oh, yeah. All right. Oh. Look at this deer. Oh my goodness. Look at those brows. Those twos. Wow. We were just real fortunate to be here in the right spot at the right time when he came through. What a whitetail. What a deer. Now the work's getting ready to begin though. We gotta get this big boy out of here. Oh my goodness, what a deer. What a deer.
Well, it's been an awesome experience. This has been a great hunt. I'm just very appreciative of the whole experience and say I'd love to do it again sometime.